Abandoned buildings catching fire isn't uncommon in Ontario. The majority of them are deemed suspicious in nature. These places typically don't have running electricity or residents causing accidental fires, so the reason behind the fire is most likely a case of arson. These cases tend to be one-offs and don't get a lot of attention as the general public, and thus law enforcement, don't place much value on derelict buildings. Over the years, several notable abandonments have been the victim of arson. The most memorable case being when Alma College in St. Thomas was set ablaze in 2008. On the same day, a protest was held to prevent the demolition of the Heritage Building. The raging inferno would be caught on Google Satellite and was preserved in time on Google Maps for several years. So on September 24th of 2016, when an abandoned house in Mapleton, Ontario burnt down, it barely got a mention in the media. However, just 3 weeks later, another abandoned home went up in flames. 3 more abandoned buildings would burn down in Wellington County just within the month of October. This was the beginning of what would become 26 suspicious fires across Wellington County, spread out over several months. Exploring groups on Facebook began discussing the possibility of an arsonist, with some trying to sleuth out the potential culprits. Everything from local bored teenagers to insurance fraud was suggested. The last 2 months of 2016 saw 5 more fires, a small debris fire, and 4 more abandoned buildings. 2 fires occurred within the early hours of December 5th. The last fire of the year occurred on December 9th when a garage behind an abandoned house burnt down. Evidence of squatters was present at this location, but not the previous ones. Things didn't settle down in the new year. The historic Hortops Mill was turned into a pile of rubble on January 19th. 2 teenagers were caught on trail cameras in the area, but were ruled out by investigators. The exploring community in the area became tense. Most avoided anything abandoned in the region. February was another bad month. One of my favorite homes to photograph was reduced to a shell on the morning of Friday, February the 3rd. A fire was called in for a nearby abandoned shed, and while attending that call, the fire from the house could be seen in the distance. CTV got some incredibly heartbreaking footage. Another 2 abandoned homes had small basement fires just days later. The rate of fires was accelerating, and so was the fear from both explorers and property owners. The last building to burn down was on March 5th, the last suspicious fire on March 12th. After an appeal from the fire chief official made the rounds, the fires appeared to slow down. It would be several months until the next series of fires in abandoned locations. 3 occurred on June 25th, an abandoned home, a barn, and a shed on a previously hit property. The case remained at the top of people's minds until an announcement near the end of 2017 stated a 28-year-old Guelph-Aramosa man named Justin Biel had been charged with 5 counts of arson. Justin had allegedly turned himself in after feeling guilty about the danger he put fire crews in. An extra 2 charges of arson were added as the investigation progressed. At that time, the OPP said they were investigating the possibility of a second arsonist and said there could still be more charges laid in the other fires. Justin Biel pled not guilty and was released from custody. He continued to live life as normal, smoking cigarettes and attending house parties where he would allegedly discuss the fires. COVID-19 caused his case to be postponed several times. His case was finally heard by Justice Bruce Durno on January 14th of 2021. Justin Biel was charged and found guilty of arson in the following cases. The October 14th house fire at 5230 3rd Line, the October 19th house fire at 5292 3rd Line, the December 5th barn fire at 7070 Fife Road, the 2 cases of arson on February 3rd, which include the drive shed and the house, and the 2 fires that occurred on June 25th, a shed fire at 5324 Wellington Road 125, and a house fire at 8813 Side Road 27. Justin Biel, who is now 31 years old, was sentenced to 21 months in prison, 36 months of probation, and must pay $39,000 in restitution fees to the owners of the properties he affected. Beale claimed he used lighting fires as a form of stress relief from his personal problems, which include debt and family issues. His probationary terms require him to not possess any incendiary devices, including lighters and matches.